Pirate Software is purposefully lying to you. Big creators like Charlie and Mutahar already went over the topic about Stop Killing Games movement, a movement I support. But these two creators said the same thing. Tor, aka Pirate Games, just didn't understand what this movement is about. I'm telling, no, he knew exactly what the movement is about and is purposefully lying about it to stop the movement. I know it's a loaded statement, but like, hear me out. By the end of the video, you would share the same opinion as me, trust me. Essentially, this is an entire ego thing, but it's way deeper than you think. And like the creator of the movement said, he's taking the wins out of this entire movement. But I'll do this in Tor style, in Pirate Software style. I'm going to explain this situation in MS Paint. So we got Tor right here. And Tor actually made a game called Hardbound. Now, he poured many hours into it and had a little team. He got funded by Kickstarter, whatever. This game isn't finished. So he released an early version in 2018. Now we're at least 6 years further and it's still in early access, meaning it's not done. But what do you need to know about this Hardbound game? Well, this Hardbound is of course a single player game. But more importantly, you need an internet connection. You need to be connected with the Steam servers to actually be able to play the game. Wait, what? A single player game where you actually don't need a connection? Needs a connection because of what reasons? Well, Tor says, I made this entire system against piracy. So essentially his game Hardbound has a security measure. I'll show it to you. So this is his game. And now the game always checks via internet connection, via the Steam servers, if you have achievements. So these are Steam achievements. The game constantly checks if you have these. And if you don't have them, the game can conclude that it's a pirated version of the game and can just terminate itself or stop working. That was his entire plan of anti-piracy. Some people say it's not that effective and it's quite stupid, but look, I am no security expert. I have no idea what this is about. I cannot code for shit, so... But you need to realize, Gaben said it as well.
The piracy is the result of bad service.
Meaning the price of the game is too high, or there's too little content to actually ask that price. And now you are so caught up in the moment of piracy that you made an entire system where it's almost impossible, scratch that, it's impossible to play your offline game offline. Yeah, I'm calling it an offline game since it's a single player game where you actually don't need any connection whatsoever. I should be able to play this on my laptop without an internet connection. I should be able to play this on an airplane, but I cannot. So now what does his game have to do with this entire Stop Killing Games movement? Well, the Stop Killing Games, they say hey, if you're going to stop supporting a game as a game developer, you at least need to make a little update so the people who have purchased the game in the past still have a reasonable way to play it. A reasonable, saying if you made a multiplayer MMORPG, okay, that's something different, right? You need live servers. We want to add a law where game developers cannot just yank games right out of our hands and make it unplayable. You already paid for the product. This is not buying a product, this is renting a product. But they're not advertising it as renting. They say, oh, you can buy this game. Buying is owning. You own a copy of a game, not rent it out. And Pirate Software, look, Pirate Software made a game that's entirely with these scummy practices. So his game Hardbound needs an online connection with the Steam services. And what will happen if the Steam services, God forbid, went down? They can just pull the plug out of the game. He doesn't need to work on it anymore. Meaning his game will not work even though you paid it. The guy is a successful streamer. He doesn't have to make a game anymore. He made enough money streaming. So I get his point. He always says like, hey, I'm trying to make this game. I'm the creator of this game, but you're not actually working on your game. You haven't worked on it for quite a while. This should be an inspiration from the game Undertale. The game Undertale is entirely made by one person. And that one person made a killer game with bad coding. You, on the other hand, say that you're a master at coding. You worked for the government, you did this, you did that, blah, blah, blah. And somehow you cannot finish a game after 6 years. You essentially did not finish the game after 6 years. What does this mean? Does this mean you're a bad coder? No, you just don't want to do it. You'd rather stream 12 hours like playing World of Warcraft than make a game. I get it. If you make more money playing World of Warcraft, I would do the same thing. But if I promised a product to the consumer, it would eat me alive. Like for instance, this video, recording, I'm very lazy. I don't like recording videos. That's why I don't upload much. But once I have footage, something inside of me eats me alive if I don't edit that video in one sitting. Meaning I have to start and finish a project in one sitting. That's entirely toxic, but that's my way of working. If I made a game, it would eat me alive to know that it isn't done yet. I already like sold the product, but it isn't done yet. What are you doing, dude? To no extent, the game looks very good. I'll give you that. The game looks very good. It looks entertaining to watch. It got all the praise that it deserved. I think the reason why you don't like the stop killing games movement is because it forces you to actually make your game. It forces you to continue developing your game, and you do not want to do that, since you have found another way of making more money. That's the entire story of this. This is a big claim of me. I don't know how you think about this. Making a game and putting it on early access for over like 6 years is crazy. Not even Postal 4 is in 6 years of early game development. Okay, I'm comparing like a single developer against an entire team of developers. That's not fair. But you get the point. I want you to just be honest. I would rather that you said like, hey, I'm pulling the plug on this game. I don't want to work on it anymore. I don't want to pretend that I want to work on the game anymore, since I make money from streaming now. Like, just do that, remove it from the Steam store page, and let people that already have purchased the game still play the game. Is that so hard to ask? Pirate Software is kind of known for having a huge ego. This cube represents his ego. I know what you're thinking, it's kind of too small, but bear with me. Everything that attacks his ego is like you're attacking every craft in his life, and he doesn't respond very well on it. Look, this is him. Angry face. Her. He doesn't respond very well, and instead of like thinking logically that he promotes so much in his short form videos, he doubles down, triples down, he always doubles down on whatever his opinion was, how wrong it also is. Because he wants to prove something to his audience that is always right. Always right. Here you go. Always right. This cycle just continues. He gets backlash from his audience, then he goes back to his huge ego, that it's getting hurt, etc, etc. Now, he doesn't want to remove his anti-piracy measures from his game. So here's Hardbound. This is Hardbound. And he made an entire genius anti-piracy measure by using the Steam cloud. I've already said it 20 times, but I'm gonna say it again. This requires an internet connection, and the Stop Killing Games movement entirely says like, hey, eventually, if Steam servers die out, you need to make a possibility for people that already have purchased the game to still be able to play the game without the Steam cloud servers. And that's extra work. And he doesn't want to put his game out there for everyone to just pirate, right? He doesn't want like hackers to see his many lines of code that he did to develop his game, because that attacks his ego. Look, I made a great game, but look how easy it was to pirate. My life creation has been destroyed entirely by some pirates, even though your name is Pirate Software. Kinda ironic. So that also attacks his ego, and now he had an entire shitty take on Stop Killing Games movement. And now he's gonna double down times 2, times 3, times 4. Doesn't matter how many times he gets cancelled. He's just going to double down on his opinion because his entire Lifecraft is in shambles, according to him. Instead of actually making another anti-piracy measure, he just doesn't want to work on his game. That's the story of that. That's why he's so against it. But I do appreciate a lot of creators talking about this movement. Yeah, that's that. Subscribe if you like my masked content.